Hello, I'm Archie Luxury and welcome to the program. And today I'd like to discuss today's moral dilemma. And I got an email in from a fan, and he was basically saying to me, he said to me he's a huge fan of the Archie Luxury program. He loves the channel. And he wrote to me and said, look, his problem he's got is he loves these luxury things, but he finds it very hard to use them because he's scared of them attracting damage, getting damaged. And he's got a two-tone Daytona, which is that's an expensive piece. That's a beautiful piece. And he's also got a sports car. And he said to me, he said he's got these beautiful things. Does he use them, or does he put them on a pedestal? They're too good to use. And this is a really, really interesting question, because I have been there myself. And I know exactly where he's coming from, because if you use these things, they're no longer minty. You can get a scratch. I mean, fuck, I don't know what it is, you know. I'm wearing an expensive wristwatch and I bang it into a fucking door, you know. I can wear a cheap Seiko and I never bang the fucking thing. But when I'm wearing a Patek or a Jaeger LeCoultre, it just sort of, it's like the walls are saying to me, bang me, bang me. And I don't know how to react at times. It's a bit of a nasty thing. And it's a very, very interesting question. Do you have luxury goods that are too good to use? And I just got my Louis Vuitton President Classier Adios back from Louis Vuitton. Absolute mint piece. This is a $9,700 briefcase. And do I use it or do I preserve it? And it's a very, very tricky moral question. And I wanna talk to my viewers about this. I mean, do you have stuff that you're too scared to use? And it's kind of crazy. I know myself, you know, what I've done in the past is I've often bought multiple ones. I haven't just bought one watch. I have a collection. And look, I'll be honest with you, okay? I turned 41 not so long ago. And I'll be honest with you, you've got to use your stuff, okay? You've got to use your stuff, because if you don't use it, it's just, you're gonna be, you know, 50, 60 years old, and you've got mint stuff that you haven't had much enjoyment from. And the whole point of this stuff is to enjoy it. It's to make you happy. I mean, that's why do you buy a two-tone Daytona? It's to wear it with pride. It's something you've worked hard for, to get enjoyment from it. And the same can be said for a Patek or any other luxury piece you may buy. And you know, this is a hard thing. I know exactly where you're coming from. And sometimes you get satisfaction by owning something beautiful. And I understand you don't have to use it every day, you know, particularly if you're doing manual labor, or, you know, if you're scrubbing industrial bins or installing computers. You've got to be careful. You don't want your beautiful watch to be scratched or damaged. But in the same token, you don't want them to become safe queens where they live in a safety deposit box, never to see the light of day. And I think it's a fine balance. I think it's a very fine balance. And my advice is really, all this stuff that you've got, you have to use and enjoy. You've got to do it. I mean, what's the point of all this shit if you don't enjoy and love it? And that's my own opinion, okay? You must use it. And with that said, obviously, if you're going to be, you know, some pieces you want to savor, but you've got to make sure you use them. And look, I've had expensive things where I've fucked up. You know, I had I had a Patek on once where I got a bit of a gouge in the fucking thing. I can't even remember gouging it, but it got a bad gouge, and look, you deal with it. If shit happens, you deal with it. That doesn't mean to say I go fucking swimming with my Patek Philippe's on, but shit happens, you got to deal with it. But you've got to enjoy your pieces. I mean, all these things, they are really for you to enjoy. That's the whole point of buying beautiful things. And you know, you see it with supercars like Ferraris and that there. Like someone's never driven it, and you think, well, is that a waste? I mean, sure, it preserves it beautifully, but there's other damage that happens to that car because it hasn't been fucking driven. It's, you know, certain parts dry up, clog up, and you know, that's the other side of the equation. And my honest advice is, yeah, it's nice to have something that you never use, but it kind of defeats the purpose. And my advice to anyone out there is to cautiously use your stuff. Okay, that doesn't mean you can wear it. If you're a mechanic, don't wear a fucking, you know, a vintage Submariner or any Submariner or any Rolex. If you're tinkering, you know, it's easy to get it scratched. But if you are, try and wear a luxury watch every day. When you come home from work, slap it on. Why not? Why not? You've got to have some enjoyment. I mean, at the end of the day, these beautiful things that exist, they're here for you to enjoy. And tell me this, what would your kids find more worthy, okay, an heirloom to pass down? Is it a watch that they never saw you wear, that lived in the bank safe, and when you died, they suddenly just realized you owned a Patek or a Rolex? Or is it to say, oh yeah, that's Dad's Rolex. We went to sports together, he was wearing it. We're in this photo, he was wearing it. What's more precious? And that's the question you got to ask yourself. What is more precious? And I really believe myself, you got to wear things. You got to get enjoyment from it. I mean, that's what they're here for. You got to get enjoyment from it. And when you're gone, you don't regret, hey, I regret wearing my vintage Rolex too much, or I regret on my deathbed wearing my Patek too much. You got to get the enjoyment out of it. That's the whole point. I'm Archie Luxury. Tell me what you think of that.